A very good morning, dear students. Welcome to e-learning classes of Sacred Hearts of the subject Economics. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have again started our first book, that was Introductory Microeconomics, and in that we have started our chapter number 3, that is Consumers Equilibrium Utility Analysis. And in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the concept of consumer, the concept of utility. What was utility? The want satisfying power of a commodity was considered as utility. Thereafter, we have discussed the two different measurement approaches of utility. The first one, cardinal approach, according to which whatever the satisfaction we are getting, we can count it. Thereafter, we have discussed about the ordinal approach, and according to this, whatever the satisfaction we are getting, we can only give preference to it. After that, we have discussed about the concept of total utility and marginal utility, in which we have discussed TU and MU. Thereafter, we have discussed about the relation between total utility and marginal utility with the help of a schedule and as well as with the help of diagram. Dear students, today we are going to discuss about the law of DMU, that is the law of diminishing marginal utility, its assumptions, and the concept of consumer equilibrium and its assumptions. So let's get started. The very first is the meaning of law of diminishing marginal utility. So this is the law which states that as more and more standard units of a commodities are consumed continuously, what is to be done? When we will consume the standard units of a particular commodity very continuously, so what will happen? Marginal utility, that is MU, derived from every additional unit, whatever the marginal utility we are getting from the every additional unit will must decline, must decrease. Now, it is also known as fundamental law of satisfaction and fundamental psychological law as well, and we have discussed or we have seen this trend in the previous lectures, numerical as well, that the value of MU keep on decreasing. Now, what are the two basic assumptions of law of DMU? The very first is this, that the unit must be consumed in the standard unit. For example, if we are talking about tea, then it will be offered in the cup, not in the spoon or not in the bucket. In the same way, if we are just talking about the cough syrup, then it will be offered or it will be given in the spoon, not by the glass, not by the bowl, and not by the jug. So standard units must be there, and second, consumption must be continuous, because if the consumption will not be continuous, then again after a fraction of time we will have the propensity or tendency to consume the good again and again. Now, the concept of consumer's equilibrium. So, consumer equilibrium is a particular situation where the given income and market prices, with the given income and with the market prices, consumer plan his expenditure in such a manner that he maximize his total satisfaction, and even if someone offers any change in the combination with the given income and price, the particular consumer give denial for that. That is a particular state of consumer equilibrium. That means a particular state where consumer have made an adjustment with the income, with the price, so that he is getting the maximum satisfaction. Now, what are the different assumptions of consumer equilibrium? The very first is the rational consumer. That means the consumer is rational, the consumer is mindful, and every of the activity of the consumer is associated with the maximization of profit. Every time he is having the tendency, he is having the effort so that he can maximize his satisfaction. The second one is the cardinal utility. So just see over here, according to the consumer's equilibrium concept, we are on the cardinal approach, according to which whatever the satisfaction we are getting, whatever the utility we are getting, we can count it in the terms of cardinal units such as 1, 2, 3, 4. Thereafter, the next assumption is the independent utility. That means it is assumed that the utility of a consumer, that a consumer gets from a commodity depends upon the quantity of very commodity alone. That means if a consumer is using 2 goods, 3 goods, 4 goods. So whatever the utility is there, every of the good is having the probability and the power of independent utility. The consumption of other good is not going to affect the utility of other good. Now the last assumption is the marginal utility of money is remain constant. It is also known as MUM. Initially we will understand what is the marginal utility of money. So it refers to worth of a rupee for a consumer. Value of 1 rupee for a consumer, that is the MUM, marginal utility of money. And every time whenever we are studying about the consumer equilibrium concept, the concept of MUM is assumed to be constant. Now just see a numerical over here. In this units are given and marginal utility is given, and out of this the total utility is to be calculated. So if we recall the formula of MU, that it was the MU is equals to TUN minus TUN minus 1. So if we have to calculate the value of MU from the TU, then we have to subtract the value. So the just opposite will be done when we have to calculate the value of TU from the MU. So whatever the TU we are getting till now, we will add it up. We can see over here in the first unit the MU is 16 and the TU is also 16. In the second unit, how many MUs are there? 2 MUs are there. Initially 16 and then 15. Then 16 plus 15 is equals to 31, and so on. By adding all the MUs, correspondent MUs, we can get the value of TU. So this is all about today. God bless you all. Lots of love.